What did God create on the first day?
Day and light.
He created the light, and he called the light day, and the darkness he called
Night.
And how did he create the light?
By words.
By his words. He said, "Let there be light." Very good, Cadence. Okay. What did he create on the second day?
Sky and water.
He created the sky. I'm not sure when he created the water because the Bible doesn't say clearly, because it just said like the Spirit went over the waters, but it doesn't say which day the waters were created. But on day 2, he created the sky and separated the water, right? So what day was the air or the sky?
Second.
Everyone hold up a 2. Second day. Second day was the what? Second day was what?
The sky and the waters.
The sky. The sky, and it separated the waters. Okay. Day 3 was last week, and I have a few reminders. What was day 3, Brooke?
Plants.
Plants and earth.
And earth. We call this earth. Not like the earth, but the dry land. He called it earth, right? He created dry land and called it earth. Okay. So he gathered the waters together. Remember, because there was just water everywhere the earth was out formed. And he created the dry land. He called it earth, and he gathered it together. And then there were also the rocks, which is part of the earth, and fruit and vegetables and pretty flowers. Now, was the sun here yet on day 3? No. There was light on day 1, right? There was light, but this light was not the sun. I don't know what the light was, but it was not the sun.
I know what it was.
Nobody knows what the light was.
It might have been the Lord.
He is light. I'll give you that one. Okay, so God knew the plants need the sun to live, right? Yeah, the plants need the sun. But he hadn't created the sun yet because we haven't got to day 4. So day 1 was, what was day 1?
Day and night.
Was light, which was the day and night. Okay, what was day 2?
Sky.
The sky, yeah. And day 3, you can say it.
Water.
Plant.
The plants and
The water.
the earth, not the water. The water was already there. Okay, now what was day 4?
The light.
We're gonna learn today, right? Now, where in the Bible can I find this? What we've been learning? Where is it in the Bible? Brooke?
Genesis 1:1.
What does Genesis 1:1 say?
In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth.
Very good. You got it. You got the whole thing this time. Even the first 3 words. Okay, so in Genesis, so everybody say Genesis.
Genesis.
So the very first book of the Bible, right? The very first page, we can learn God said, "Let there be light," and there was light, and God saw the light, and it was
Good.
good. Yep, and God divided the light from the darkness. God called the light
Day.
day, and the darkness he called
Night.
night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. I read all of that straight from the Bible. Okay? And God said, "Let there be a firmament." What did firmament mean?
Like air.
Brooke?
Air.
Air. Firmament meant air. Let there be a firmament in the midst of the water. A firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament. What was firmament?
Air.
Air. And divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, or in this case also it's called air. And the evening and the morning were the second day. All of that's straight from the Bible. And where is it found in the Bible?
Genesis.
Genesis.
1-1.
Genesis.
All of it.
All of Genesis. The first part of Genesis, not just 1:1. So now we're going to get on to day 4. Everybody hold up a 4. 4. Everyone's got 4? Okay. So this is in, day 4 starts in Genesis 1:14. That's pretty awesome that it happens to start in verse 14, right? And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament." What was firmament?
Air.
Here.
Air. And of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so. So God made 2 great lights. Everyone hold up 2 great lights. Okay? The greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. Now is time. What did all that mean? Because he didn't tell us right here the name of those lights. But some of y'all might know. The greater light to rule the day. What is the great light to rule the day? Cadence?
Probably the stars.
During the day, do you see the stars in the day? Sadie, I just asked a question.
Oh, yeah.
What was the greater light? Do you know? You said earlier you knew it.
Sun.
The sun! And we've got a sun!
Woo!
Woo! The sun!
That looked good fun.
Okay, so
You go
God
first, next.
created the greater light to rule the what? What time of
Day.
day? The greater light is the sun to rule the day. And the lesser light is what? Brooke? It was for the night. What light do we see in the night?
The moonlight.
The moon! So the sun is actually a star. Did y'all know that?
Yeah, I knew it.
The sun is a star. Now, how come the sun looks so big, but all the other stars, they look tiny? Is the sun a bigger star?
Yes.
How many say, yeah, the sun's a bigger star than the other stars? That's what you think because it's closer than the earth. It's closer. That's why it looks bigger.
Oh, yeah.
So put your hand in front of you. Okay, now move it closer to your face. Does it look like it's getting bigger?
Yeah.
Yeah. The closer it is, the bigger it looks. That's why the sun looks so big. And
My
the other
neck
stars,
smells
they look
so
so
bad.
small because they're far, far away. But some of the stars are actually bigger than the sun. Okay, now what was the smaller one to rule the night? Brooke?
Sky.
Moon.
The moon. The moon. And the moon does not have any light. I know I've got a yellow ball here. I should have a white ball, I think. The moon does not have any light.
But I thought it did because we always see a light on the moon.
You always see it. Do you know why you see it?
Oh,
Do you know Coraline?
Because maybe
Nope,
the
that's
sun is
not your
behind
turn.
it.
But
Is
Coraline,
it because the sun is behind it?
the sun's not always behind it. But maybe your idea is correct. What happens is the sun shines on the moon and it reflects the light. So half of the moon is dark, always.
I know that.
Half of the moon is always dark. And the other half shows the sun. The sun is reflecting. So the moon doesn't have light of its own. It only reflects the light from the sun. So this is going to represent the earth, okay? The earth goes around the sun, right? It's way farther apart than I can show here. But the earth goes around the sun, and the time that it takes the earth to go around the sun one time is a very long time. It's a year. A whole year. The earth goes around the sun one time, and that's a year.
And does that make it turn into winter?
That's crazy. Now, what we're going to do for our part of our experiment today, okay, we're going to have this little thing. And look, our head fits perfectly in it. But it's just as if it was the earth, okay, and there's not actually like all of these moons. Each of these moons represents a different spot. But, so let's say we're just going to look at this one moon and we're going to pretend those aren't there, okay? When the moon goes around the earth, all the way around, does anyone want to guess how long it takes for the moon to go all the way around the earth? How many days? Sawyer?
Maybe 29.
Exactly. It takes 1 month for the moon to go all the way around the earth. Do y'all ever look at the moon?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Sometimes the moon, you can see all of it, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you can only see like a part of it, and sometimes you can just barely see a little sliver. We're going to be able to see that in this. Okay, yes, Coraline.
So, is it really always a full moon, but when the sun's only beside it, is it just like a quarter moon?
So when the, how about if I use this little seed as pretend the moon? Okay, when the sun is here, and the earth is here, and the moon is here. Okay? The sun is actually shining on the moon, and we can see it from the earth.
Yeah, I can see it perfectly.
Whenever it's here, when the moon's in between the sun, when it goes around like this, we can't see the side that has the sun on it. So that's when it looks like it's dark. Okay, or sometimes you can see like around it, like an eclipse. Right? So the earth or the moon moves around the earth like this. And how long does it take to go around, Sawyer? A month. So the moon goes around the earth in about a month. I think it's like 28 point something days, but it's about a month. So you'll see,
around the sun.
Here's a full moon, right? And then it's getting smaller, 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 and you'll see about half of it. And then it starts to get bigger, bigger, bigger again. No, you're still getting smaller, smaller, smaller. You're getting all this way, you're getting smaller, 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 smaller. And then nothing, and then it's tiny, 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 starting to get bigger. You see half, all the way to full moon again. So where is our moon to be a full moon? Is it, where do you think?
It's on that side.
On this side. Yeah, on this side it's a full moon. And what's really hard to do is, remember, the earth is going around the sun and the moon is going around the earth like this. It is incredible the way God created it all. And if the earth was any closer to the sun, we'd burn up because the sun's so hot. If it was closer to the sun, we'd burn up.
Yeah, and we are getting burned up because of the summer, silly.
No, but I mean like kind of burn up.
Explode?
Yeah.
Oh, like they
Like not just burn our skin, but completely burn something. But if the earth was closer, then everything would. If the earth was closer to the sun, or sun was closer to the earth, it would all burn up.
Even
like-
further.
Like we think we're burning up, or we get a little burn on our skin and it hurts. But if we were closer, we couldn't even live. If we were farther away, it would be too cold. We would freeze. We couldn't live then either. So God put the earth and the sun in exactly the right spot. And the Bible tells us that it marks our seasons. Like the year. Remember, the earth goes around the sun is 1 year. And the moon also marks the seasons. The moon goes around the earth. It's one month. 1 month. It's kind of difficult to understand all of it, huh? It's even hard for me.
I remember these days.
One of these days you'll remember. Okay.
No.
So, here's a picture to show you. Now, in pictures, we can't show the correct sizes and the correct distance. The earth is not this close to the sun. The earth would be way, way, way far away. But then we couldn't see it, so they draw it close like this. Okay, the earth goes around the sun, right? And the earth is actually not straight up and down. It's tilted a little bit.
I know that.
It's called an axis. And you know what I didn't tell you yet? So here's the sun, here's the earth. The earth rotates. So when the earth rotates one full time, that is 1 day. Goes
And that
1 day.
And that makes the sun go to place too.
That's how it looks like the sun goes to different places because the earth is rotating.
Okay,
The sun
so
is still.
The sun's not going anywhere. It's the earth. So if, can y'all, from there, from your seat, can you see the line on here? Y'all can. Some of you have good eyes.
yeah, I see
You
the
see that
line.
line? So the earth, so say we live right there. Okay, we get here, look, now it's daytime.
Right there.
Daytime, we're right here. Daytime, it's, oh, the sun we say the sun is setting, but the sun's not going anywhere, the earth is moving. Oh, the sun's setting, it's getting night, right? And look, when we're over here, the sun's over here, right? So it's dark. We don't see the sun. When it's dark, we're on the other side. The sun's over here and we're over here. The middle of the day, we're right up where we can see the sun. That's the earth on its axis, right? And the moon and all the stars at nighttime, right? Have you ever looked up at the stars? Can anybody see the stars at their house?
Yeah.
Sometimes if there's too many lights around, you can't see the stars.
I live inside the country, like in the middle of town.
So there's not too many lights, you can see the stars, right?
Yeah.
And you look up at the stars, oh, just like these stars, right? And you think, wow, isn't God amazing? Isn't He amazing?
I saw a list.
We have a verse in Psalm 147, verse 4. It says that God telleth the number of the stars. That means He's in control. He knows the number, and He controls, because stars die. Stars actually die.
They do?
Yeah, and stars are born too. So God tells how many stars there are,
How they get born
And-
and die too.
and He calls them all by name. How many names do you know? Maybe a couple hundred? Maybe if you're super duper smart, you know 1,000 names? But we can't even count all of the stars. One point in time, the scientists thought, okay, we can count all of the stars.
But that's
And then you know what happened? The telescope was invented. Have y'all seen a telescope? It's like big, long, and you can look at the stars farther
Yeah.
away. They looked through there and they realized there's even more stars that we couldn't see from the Earth. We need this telescope to help us see the stars way out there. There's so many stars. We cannot count them.
I don't even
We
have
try
that
and try. We can't count them.
There's about
But God knows each and every star. He knows how many there are, and He calls them by name. If God knows the stars' names, do you think He knows your name?
Yeah,
If He knows the exact everything about the stars, do you think He knows you?
yeah.
Yeah. Does that make you feel like, God knows me. He knows the stars. Okay, here's a picture. I talked about the phases of the moon. Now, do we see this all in one sky? No. This is just a picture to show us each phase. Okay? So we talked about that. And there was another one. On Sunday nights, we have had a special teacher most Sunday nights called Cosmic Kristen. Have any of y'all seen Cosmic Kristen?
You're right there.
It's regular Christian.
I'm regular Kristen right now, but on Sunday nights we have Cosmic Kristen, who's an astronaut, and has been teaching us about some of the stars.
Yeah, you kind of.
And Cosmic Kristen showed us this star, which is called the Helix Nebula, and it's dying. But what does that look like to you?
The volcano.
You think it looks like a volcano? Anyone else? What does it look like? Brooke?
To me, it looks like a teleporter.
A teleporter? What do you think,
But
Sawyer?
it's
An eye. That's what I thought it looked like. Was an eye. Do you see it now? You see the eye?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe if I turn it this way?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
now
kind of eye.
Does
This
it look
kind
like
of
an eye?
Uh-huh.
Now, this star can't see, right?
Well, that'd be weird.
No, stars can't see.
But
But it reminds us,
Because it looks like all the planets are stars that you're telling us about.
even this star can remind us that God sees us everywhere. Right? The star can't see.
Star.
The star can't see, and we can't see it just from looking outside because it's too far away. But the scientists they've taken pictures of it so that way we can study it too. People, right, the scientists, they're trying to call things planets or stars or whatever, and sometimes they can't make up their minds what they want to call it. But God knows each and every one because He created it. Okay. I want us to look at this verse, and it's worded a little different than the way we would normally word things. Okay, it's in the book of John. Okay, in John chapter 1, and it says all things were made by Him, and it's referring to Jesus. Okay, all things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made. All things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made. Is that a little confusing, or do you understand that? You understand it? Can you say it in your own words, Cadence?
All things were made
Are you reading
by
it?
Jesus,
Uh-huh.
and He was not. There's nothing before He made it.
Right, nothing was made without Him. So, He made everything, and there's nothing that He didn't make. Apart from, is Jesus. Right? So that's kind of incredible. Because a lot of times we talk about God, and we think about God the Father, but it was also is Jesus. Right? Okay. Who was here last week for our science experiment? Who remembers what the science experiment was? What was it, Sadie?
I think it
Trying
was.
to
Oh, it was weighing air.
No, that was the first week. Last week, Coralie?
Seeds.
Seeds. Right? The seeds.
And that is definitely.
And they do this. And there's seeds in the window over here. Remember I told y'all we were going to leave some in the window? And I took some home. And the ones I took home, they look like this.
Hey.
And you know what I forgot to do today? Forgot to bring them. I wanted to show y'all so bad the ones that grew. But the
What
ones...
did they turn into anyway?
Well, the seeds that I have will turn into sunflowers once they get planted. They can't grow into sunflowers in the bag. But last week we learned about the seeds because we did day 3, God created the plants, right? Do you have a question, Coralie? Were you going to say something? What is it?
Do sunflowers have to have the sun to grow?
Yes.
Every
Sunflowers
single
definitely have to have the sun to grow.
one?
And apparently they need the right amount of sun. Because I think this window here gets a lot of sun, like all
Actually,
day.
that one is a lot of sun.
I thought
And-
you said that window sucks.
I said that window's not very good. Yeah, I think maybe it gets too much sun for the seeds that I try to grow, because at my house it only gets sun for half a day, and they do great at my house. They don't do very good in this window here. I don't know why. Okay, have y'all ever heard of like the Big Dipper?
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it? Has anybody ever seen it in the sky? You know what I'm talking about? So, all of the stars in the sky like this, sometimes you can point out there's certain stars that you can kind of like make a shape. So if I put points, you know, like connect the dots,
Oh,
Y'all done connect the dots?
triangle.
you can do that with the stars. And that's called a constellation. Can you say constellation?
Constellation.
Oh, I think it's kind of a hard word, but y'all did good. So, there's one that's really common called the Big Dipper. Okay? And there's not, in the sky, there's not these lines.
Hey, I've seen the Big Dipper.
So, there's not the lines in the sky, but you see a dot, 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 dot. Right? And you can connect the dots to see the Big Dipper. Okay, so we have these different papers, and what we're going to do, I've got some flashlights, and we're going to go in the other room where there's not windows, and what we're going to do,
Ooh, I want the chill one.
you got to listen, you got to follow the instructions. I checked all of these before I came in here, and guess what? This one's not working. Let's see if this one, let there be light.
Yep, there's light on it.
It's not because I said it though, right?
I know.
Okay, so we're gonna hold it back, and then, can y'all see the light coming through those holes?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking we were going to do.
So we're gonna do that on the wall to see the different constellations, okay? And I think I have enough flashlights for everybody to do one.
This is one of the constellations that we have. And this one, does anybody know its name? This one is called the Big Dipper. And it kind of looks like something your mom might use in the kitchen, maybe to dip spaghetti sauce or a soup out. And so that's sort of how it got its name, called the Big Dipper. All right, now I'm gonna get another one. The next one is really my favorite because I like to see this one in the sky. This one is called, does anybody know it? I guess I should ask that first. This one is kind of easy if you look in the sky to see. Do you see in the middle there's like 3 stars that all come together? Those are the ones that usually you can see in the sky, and they make the belt, and this is called Orion the Hunter. And so if you ever see those 3 stars that are sort of close together like that, now they're not going to be that close together in the sky, but you should be able to see 3 that are sort of close, then you'll know that is Orion the Hunter. All right, then we're going to come to another one. There's a lot of constellations out there. We're only looking at 5 of them today. Here's another one. And this one you may not be able to know because I probably wouldn't be able to see this one in the sky. But this is supposed to make the big dog, or they call it Canis Major. And so you might have fun trying to look at it in the sky somewhere. All right, then we're going to show you another one. This one, see if you can tell me what it sort of looks like. Can you figure out what it sort of looks like? It sort of looks like a W in the sky, doesn't it? Yeah, or some people, depending on where it is in the sky, it might be turned the other way or sideways, and they'll think that it looks like an M. But I have heard before that it looks like the crown that might be on the queen. This is supposed to stand for Queen Cassiopeia. It also actually is supposed to be different points in her body, like her arms and her legs and her hips. But I like to remember it by just remembering the crown for the queen. All right, then we have another one, and this one is kind of a funny shaped one. But this one is called the Scorpion or Scorpio. Let me see if I can get it a little better there. All right, and you can see where it really curls on the right-hand side. Well, that is the tail. And the other ones are supposed to be where the head, on the left side would be where the head of the scorpion is. Now this is just a basic outline, and they sort of fill in a little bit of where the rest of the shape of the body is.